So let me just do this. So I'm creating a platform, I'm creating, let's say, an element. So the beauty of this is you can experience the scale very small of what you're creating. You can turn it around, and then, of course, you can immersively be in it. And when you're in it, you can also manipulate things when you are in it, and also manipulate the whole environment, turn it. And for example, you can come here, let's say, and let's say I want to create and of course you can generate any openings, you can change it, and so forth. Now this is called VR Sketch, and I'm going to show you the power of Gravity Sketch. Is that so you can generate any shape and any form in space, and then by doing that, this is a form. You can be in it, you can see it, and the power of this is very fluid. Not only that, you can go, for example, so any type of shape and form that you can generate. Also, it have that power, and this is, of course, you can go into the scale that is very big, and of course the scale that is very small. And this is the egocentric versus exocentric perspective, which is a dream come true for designers. And you can, of course, flip it like this, turn it, do whatever you want with it. Of course, also change color, and so forth. If you want to go the traditional way, you can sketch anything you want, and usually you can use that in VR Sketch or Gravity Sketch. You put it in the program itself as a flat paper, and then you can trace on it. You can change it, you can transform it, you can put it as a base point and then extrude. So even if you want to transition from someone who really likes to do things by hand, this will help you because you can create that flat element on it. You can even open flat elements as much as you want. You can put videos, you can put whatever you want in that immersive space. And as you can see, I showed you, it's like this real world. I mean, it's like magic. You can do whatever you want. And then you can, once you start designing in this way, you would not want to go back to the paper and pen. I like it. I'm a very haptic person. I used to do very much, physical model. My whole education system was based on that. And when I see these type of tools and, the empowerment that this technology can do for designers, it blows, everybody's mind. The way that it's a flipped way. We are no longer designing in 2D, imagining 2D, and then we directly imagining 3D, and then we can take that 3D and if you need to communicate it to 2D, we can move it. So it's a flipped way of what's traditionally we used to teach in design schools, which is start by paper and imagining, start by paper and all of that. We also push them to do physical models because that's the closest that they can get to reality. This one is even closer because then not only you can generate different scale of the element that you're creating, but you can visit that element and have an experiential aspect of it, which is that's a very powerful thing that we didn't have before. And I think we're fortunate, and the future generation is fortunate to be in this time because they can use these tools. At my time, we used to do things by hand. I mean, now with this, I think this will definitely replace anything that comes, that was usually and traditionally being used.
The education institution.
Yeah.
What are the challenges that that you face in order to integrate? We see you have a lot of passion about it, but maybe your administration, maybe procurement, maybe the universities.
Actually, that's a perfect question, because it's not easy to convince people who are not aware of VR or not, and they're only thinking about screens and then flat surfaces. Try to convince them how this element is really going to be the future and replacing. And at the American University in Dubai, I was very fortunate to have administration that really visionary in a way that they understood what I wanted, and they understood what I wanted to show them. And we did some trial. I mean, you remember we got HTC coming and doing trials and trying to bring in the stakeholders, who decision makers, to see what we can do with this. And then the moment I showed them live, not on the screen, then that was a changing moment, and I got them hooked on it. The challenging part is, I think, giving the opportunity for people to try to imagine the VR and not having a real thing to experience is very difficult. That was challenging for me. So my only solution was to bring someone with the equipment, with the technology, and tell them, look, this is it, try it. Once you try it, you realize that, okay, how powerful it is. And I didn't show you, there are way more applications. I mean, all these big applications, all these big, let's say, corporations are moving into the VR direction. Google Earth VR is one example that is a fantastic, where you can visit anywhere in the world you want. I mean, we don't have Google VR here, but Google Earth VR allow you to visit any place in the world, whether you want to fly by or you go to the street level view, and then you can look around and experience the real, one-to-one scale. And that's a fantastic also tool. So even people who are, in the pandemic, we were all stuck. That's an amazing, escape. You could go anywhere in the world, and really is very close to reality. You have photorealistic renders at one point, and you have real images. Google managed to take all the street views and put it in Google Earth VR. And what you can do is you can visit any street and look around, and it's like you're there. And this is very helpful for us, for example, in education, because especially in architecture, you have to visit the site. And you have to walk on the site, specify what you can build, what's the surrounding, what are the buildings that are there. So VR allowed us that when we are just, in the center. So you put on the VR and you can do site visits using Google Earth VR. So I think the sky is the limit, and I think you have a very bright future when it comes to virtual reality. Just to tell you, I started this course in the summer. I had literally 2 students. We started, because people are really don't know what immersive environment is with this technology. One semester now, we have 2 classes full, 14 students. So, and it just took 2 students to try it and spread the word. And then now we have 14, and I'm sure these 14 will keep on saying to the others. And now the challenge is to be able to have more workstations, because in the center we're limited to specific seats, so we can accommodate to a certain number. I know the technology is not cheap, but I think they're moving in the direction of making it more affordable, and in that it will become more universal. But it's worth it, and I think the institution invested in this, and I think that was a very smart investment, and I think more things are to come. The student reaction was always they give feedback when they're trying all the technology. Everything was almost perfect. We have some glitches because the application itself are very new. And then even we have some versions that we're working with are beta mode. So they're still trial. And sometimes you have some crashes that happening. I mean, technology, is not perfect, but still it offers an amazing opportunity. So some students, talked about the softwares themselves, like sometimes you have a bug or sometimes that glitch. But we're talking about the beta modes. Sometimes they talk about the possibility, when you have this, you become a little bit spoiled. So they tell me why we cannot do that. And then we already do a lot of things. Some softwares are more strong in a fluid kind of design, as you can see in Gravity Sketch. Others are more grounded, like VR Sketch for architectural spaces, more geometric forms. They both allow both, but you could see one has a more powerful direction, and they have different directions. But students in general really enjoyed it. I had to tell them get out of the VR because once they are in class, they don't realize the time, and then even when I tell them okay, class is over, they're still inside trying to do something. I tell them okay, you can do it next time. So honestly, most of it is positive. The negative ones were about the software themselves and sometimes the compatibility. But I think this is very small price to pay for the opportunity that you can have and the tools that you can use. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the opportunity, HTC VIVE and Daniel. And please visit the lab, visit American University in Dubai. I'm more than happy to meet you and show you what we have.